Hey you guys, and welcome to a new video in my series How to Become an Actor. Today we're discussing headshots. So what are headshots and why do you need them? If you were to apply for any job, you usually send a resume. Now with acting, you need a resume, but with that, you usually send a headshot with it. Basically, it's showing the casting director or whoever is about to cast you in whatever project what you look like. Not only what you look like, but what you might look like in their film or in that role. Acting is about your talent, but it's also about what you look like. So casting directors want to see what you look like before they consider you for a role. Now, every bit of advice I give you in this series is going to be from my own experience. So again, definitely search around to see what others say. But for me, here are the 4 things I think you need to know and think about before you go and get your headshots. I think the first thing you need to do before you start looking for photographers is to know your character types. Your character type is essentially what roles you want to get and what you think you fit. For example, roles I usually want to do and go out for are the girl next door, the goody two-shoes, the hopeless romantic, sometimes the artsy chick if I have my braids in. Something that helps me when I'm trying to figure out what my character type is to one, ask your friends and family to give you an adjective type word to describe you. Any description word or trait can help you find things that you just naturally have that you can also use to find a role and who your character type is. Another thing that helped me is watching the TV shows that I want to be casted in and the characters that I like. So for example, when I was thinking of doing my quirky girl next door, I thought of Jessica Day from New Girl. That is one of my favorite shows, and just in general, I love Zooey Deschanel. So that was one of my character types that I wanted to portray in my own way. So definitely look to your favorite TV shows or just TV shows you want to be in and find a character that you think, I could be in that role. If you have an agent or a manager, they'll definitely see what they think they can cast you for, but I also think you should see what you want to do. Although I am usually the goody two-shoes, I also really love to do action and drama, and I would love to be in a superhero movie. So I got headshots with all of these character types. So definitely start with the personality you already have, because that's probably the easiest way to cast you if you just already embody that character, but definitely push yourself to do the roles that you want to do. Some people might not see me as edgy, but that's why you have to plan your headshot so that I can give them edgy and they can be like, ooh, that girl with the cute round face actually can be edgy and smoke a cigarette. Now the next thing you want to think about is if you're going to do commercial acting or theatrical acting. If you don't know what that is, commercial acting is advertisements, social media, basically anything selling a brand or selling a product, basically commercials, it's in the name. And then theatrical, like the name, is like theater, theatrical. It's more your TV shows, your films, your movies, all of that goodness. Now this is something I actually didn't learn until I got here. I didn't know that you needed different kinds of headshots. Commercial acting is quite different from theatrical. Usually with commercial, you need to be very bubbly, very high energy, very smiley, and I'm the all-American girl. Now, of course, it depends on the brand. Some brands like Nike are more sporty and do the edgy thing, or like some other brands are high fashion and they don't want the girl next door, they want chiseled cheekbone models. So it definitely depends what you're going out for, but usually if you're trying to do the broad horizon of commercials, you're gonna need bubbly, you're gonna need colors, you're going to need that $1 million smile. So some photographers know that and will cater your headshot shoot to a commercial style. Also with commercial headshots, they're a little bit more on the nose. If you want to look smart, put on glasses. If you want to get the medical stuff, have the little white jacket. If you want to do fast food, have the polo. Commercial acting is basically taking your natural charm and personality and the character type you want, putting that energy times 10 so you can sell some products. Theatrical acting essentially does the same thing, shows your personality and your character together, but it is going to be slightly different. Not as much smiley, you definitely don't need colorful backgrounds behind you. You can definitely do comedies and goofy stuff in theatrical acting, but just compared to commercial, I think it's the more serious headshot. Again, it depends on your character type. If you just want to go out for comedies, then your headshots could probably look the same for both. But if you want to do some more serious roles, some dramas, some edginess, or do those hard-hitting films about drugs and such, you're going to need a little bit more serious theatrical headshots. So the third thing you need to think about when you're thinking about getting your headshots is, who is my photographer going to be? Not only who your photographer should be, but also what am I going to do to bring these characters, my character types, to life and to show the difference between commercial and theatrical. So when you're planning a headshot session, the main things you need to think about is 1, price. What can can you afford? Because as I said in the last video, acting is expensive. Now what I like to do before I pick my photographer is to look at their portfolio, look at their website, look at their Instagram page, not only to see if they know how to capture the character types I'm going for, but also if they know how to capture me. Depending on who you are, there's certain things you need to think about. I am a black girl, so the thing I always want to think about is if this photographer knows how to light black people. Because let me tell you, what we don't want is a photographer that has never worked with black people and has my lighting all wrong, making me look super orange or super dark. It is not attractive. Headshots are your selling point. They go with your resume. This is the first thing usually casting directors see before they even give you an audition. So definitely think about your needs and what you might need from a photographer to make sure you look your absolute best in these headshots. Another thing you need to plan for when you're about to get your headshots and when you're determining if you can afford it is your hair, makeup, and outfits. With both commercial and theatrical, you need to think about how your outfits show your character types and the different looks you want to show a casting director. Now, headshots are a shot of your head, so it's definitely going to be framing that's here to here. So before you go to a session and you're trying to get clothes for your character types, definitely do something that just showcases what you're trying to show within this frame. For example, if I was doing the smart, quirky, dorky girl headshot, I would make sure I have a nice collared shirt that's probably buttoned to the top. Again, if it's commercial or if it's a comedy, very on the nose, put on glasses, and make sure I look dorky. If it's for a film and I want to be a leading lady, I usually just put on a nice tank top that just shows my neck elongated, and then I'll do my little serious poses. Again, since you want to look your best for these casting directors, you're gonna want to make sure your hair is done and laid and looking good, and that you have makeup that not only makes you look good, but also shows your character types. I put this all together with picking a photographer because usually photographers have their own hair and makeup team that can help you with their headshot shoots. You don't have to use who they recommend, but I definitely start with them and see if it's in your price range. If it's not, maybe you can find a friend who knows how to do makeup, but you're definitely going to need some good quality hair, makeup, and outfits when you go to your headshot shoot. With quality in mind, I definitely think quality is better than quantity when it comes to headshots. Again, it depends where you're at in your career. If you're just starting, sure, maybe you can get a friend to just do some quick headshots. You can do some student films and build up your reel. But if you're trying to get into the industry doing commercials, TV, and film, I definitely think you should invest in some nice quality headshots. So just keep that in mind. Again, acting is expensive, but you do have to invest in some things that are going to help you further along. Now, this last tip honestly could be anywhere in the lineup. It doesn't have to be number 4, it could be number 1, but you definitely want to think about this before you plan your headshot session. The fourth thing is be committed to a look. So your look is a bit tricky because one, your look kind of changes as you go along. You can gain weight, you can lose weight, your hair can get longer, it can get shorter. Some things do have some leeway. It depends on who your casting director is and how willing they are to work with you. But usually if they have you for an audition and a self-tape, they want you to look like how you look in your headshot. I feel like the headshot rule is every time you change your look, you need new headshots. Now, if you don't change your look and you don't age, you could use your headshots for as long as you want. But if you do something drastic to how you look, like if I were to get red hair right now or get a tattoo or a piercing, that's something you would need new headshots for. So my advice would be do a look that you would like for at least 2 years. Or if you do plan on changing your look, have wigs or do things that you can change quickly back and forth when you have certain auditions and self-tapes. Now, I want to make it known there is some leeway when it comes to hair because there are different hairstyles. If I were to put my hair up in a poof, it's still an afro, but that is kind of another look. That's something you can do when you're with your photographer doing your different looks. So for example, I did a sporty athletic look and I put my hair up in a poof, and then for my girl next doors, I had my hair down. So changing your hair up like that can just be different looks you do with your photographer in one session. But I'm saying if I were to get red hair or braids, that might have to be a whole nother headshot shoot. So when I first moved here, I did my afro pictures, but I also had a wig of like straight hair because honestly, I didn't know if everybody was into the Black Power afro movement. So I wanted to make sure I can get whatever role there was, so I did straight hair and afro. Those were my 2 looks. In my second headshot session, since I do like to switch it up with braids, I did 2 different sessions with 2 different photographers, one doing theatrical looks with my afro, and then another doing theatrical and commercial with my braids. I would say if you have the means and can finesse it, definitely get headshots with each look. Again, the rule is if you change your look drastically, you need new headshots. So plan for that, especially if you're trying to save money and make your headshots go a long way. So that's everything I think you should know about headshots. Know your different character types, what roles you want to go after, what roles you just naturally embody. Know if you need commercial or theatrical headshots, or both. Make sure you think about everything you need when you're looking at a photographer. Can they light me? Can I afford this? How much do I have for hair, makeup, and outfits? And prioritize quality over quantity. And again, lastly, know the look you want to portray in all of these headshots. But as always, thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye!